Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be making Impressionism Monet water lily paintings, kind of like what I did here, only you're going to be making your own. I already have your name and everything up here. I've made nice little labels for you. Isn't that nice and Miss Court, right? So you don't need to worry about doing anything up here. I am going to show you how we're going to make our Monet water lily paintings. Remember, I introduced this last week. We are going to be using tape to tape off the bridge area. And we're going to be using tempera paint and our fingers. That's all you need to do this. Now I'm going to have a reference image at your tables. If not, then Miss Canal has them. I'm going to be doing a fall one. The first one I did, and the one I showed you last week, was the spring one, or summer. But I'm going to show you how to do the fall one in case you want to do that instead. There are two types of palettes. There's the fall palette, and then there's the summer palette. If you want to do a fall one, you need the palette with the yellow, brown, red, orange, and white. If you're going to do the summer palette, you're going to need the one with the teal, the blue, the green, the purple, and the white. Okay? So all you need to do to get started is you're going to take some tape. I'm going to measure it about the length of my paper. And I'm going to rip the tape in half very slowly and carefully. This is not a race. I just want to rip it so that it doesn't have the sharp edges that the tape will provide. Mine's getting a little stuck together, and that's okay. I'm just going to gently pull it apart. So you rip it all the way down so that you're getting two pieces of tape that have that rough edge. When you have that done, you're going to set one off to the side. You're going to take the other one, and you're going to just place it on your paper wherever you want your bridge to be. Now, if you want it to be curved a little bit, you're going to have to rip your tape in half and make it curved, just like that. You want to make sure that it's connected together. And then I'm going to take my other piece. I don't want this to be curved, so I'll just put it at the bottom. And there I have my bridge, the shape of it. I want to press down really nice and neat so that no paint will come through. I'm going to take a little bit more tape. Let's say about that much. I'm going to measure it out. Again, I'm going to split it in half. And I will put my rails down for my bridge. This is not very hard. You can do it. If you need help, Mrs. Canal will probably help you, or you can ask somebody at your table. I highly encourage you to ask somebody at your table for help. So this one's a little long, so I'm just going to trim it off because I don't want it sticking through. So is this one. Alright, so I have my rails done. You can do more rails if you want, you can do less. Just make sure that you have some rails on there. And you press all the tape down. You don't want the tape coming up. And it goes all the way to the edge of the paper. If it's not all the way to the edge of the paper, then the rail's just going to be floating in midair. This makes it so it's on top of the paper. Okay, have that down. Then I'm going to start with my paint. I'm just touching my finger into the paint. I have one finger designated for each color. So I have 4 colors: brown, red, orange, and white. And I'm going to just start tapping all over my paper. Do not swipe, just tap. I'm just getting a base layer, a base coat down of the paint, I can go back in later and get the colors how I want, but right now I want to cover up all the white. And you want to get most of your paint off of your fingers before you go back in and get more colors. Otherwise you're going to start mixing colors, and we don't want to do that. Remember, the Impressionists do not mix their colors to save time. They just go with the flow. I forgot to get yellow, so I'll get yellow on my 5th one. And just keep dabbing. Be careful not to get this on each other. I shouldn't have to tell you that. Just keep dabbing away, putting all the color on here. It's okay if it gets on the table a little bit. We're going to wipe the tables down at the end of class anyway. I'm not smearing. I'm not smearing. I'm not moving my finger in an up and down motion. I'm just tapping onto the paper. Cover up all the white areas. I'm just going to cover my entire paper. Remember, the Impressionists liked to capture a moment in time. They weren't concerned about detail. Remember, they had to paint quickly because otherwise the color would change. The season might change on them, and they don't want to do that. And I keep looking back and forth at my picture, my reference image, so that I can make sure I get the colors right. It does not have to be perfect at all. This is supposed to be fun and messy. It doesn't have to be perfect. I use the reference image just so that I know, oh, there's more yellow in the top. So I want to make sure that there's more yellow at top. There's more orange in the bottom, so I'm using more oranges down here. So I'll do some yellow up here. I'll mix it in. You want to fill up the entire paper. It's important to fill up the entire paper. I can't stress that enough. And if you go up in here a little bit, that's okay. Just don't go on top of your name tag. Try not to mix the colors too much in the paint palette. You're obviously going to mix them in your picture, but let's keep the paint palette as clean as possible for the next students to use, and so that nobody has a messy paint palette. There's some more brown over here in my picture, so I'm just going to add some brown. Oh, I'm going to put some more yellow on top of here. You can go back in, you can add more colors, you can keep adding to it. Now I want to add some lilies down here. It looks like a hot mess right now, I know, but it'll look cool in a second. So I'm going to add some lilies down here. I'm going to do that with some white splashes. And I'm going to add some other colors into that white, just so that it doesn't look too perfect. Add some more brown. Add another lily, maybe up here, closer to the bridge. And another one maybe down here, right below the bridge. And down here. Do whatever you want. You're just finger painting and having fun with it and creating the look of the bridge. Now when you're finished, which I almost am, you are going to go clean your fingers. And then I will show you in a moment after I clean off my fingers, because they're all really messy, as you can see, what we'll do the second part. So just hold on 1 second. Okay, I cleaned my hands, and I gave this a little bit of time to dry. It's not perfectly dry yet, but it's dry for the most part. Now I'm going to peel off the tape. I'm going to carefully hold down my paper and start peeling off the tape strips. I'm going to start with the rails because they were the last thing I put down. You don't want to rip the paper, so do this carefully. Just taking off the tape. Your fingers are going to get a little messy again. That's okay. At least we're not as messy as we were. I'm having trouble finding where my rail was, so I'll lift up on the side here. And I'm just removing everything. Peeling off where the tape was. Go slowly. You don't want your paper to rip. It's not a race. I'm peeling off my tape. And voila, I'm done. That was not that hard, was it? Okay, so you're going to clean up your area, put this on the drying rack, and if you have any questions, you can always ask Mrs. Cannell, or I'm also going to be on the Google Classroom, and you can send me a message, and I will respond to you. All right, have fun, guys. I will see you Monday.